Welcome to It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and early 80s. This is Kara Siegel. I'd like to welcome in Gary Liguori to the It's Been How Long podcast studio today. Hey, Gary, how are you?
Hey, Kara, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast.
You're welcome.
All
I'm
right.
to be asked.
Yeah, it's uh, I'm glad you're glad. So yesterday was the 44th anniversary of our graduation. So where are
That
you?
really, yeah, that really makes us feel old. I don't want to speak for you, but it makes it makes me feel really old.
Yeah,
44.
yeah,
Yeah, that is crazy.
yeah,
Because I remember we went, I guess, the 40th reunion, but I think the years were a little off because of COVID. But
yeah,
yeah, that 44, that definitely sounds. And I would have had no idea what the actual date of graduation was. So
yeah, yeah.
other
Eddie,
other than the year and the month, I would
yeah,
have gotten the date right.
yeah. No, Eddie thinking pointed it out. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. So, but anyway, so where are you? What are you up to? What keeps you busy?
Yeah, so I'm in Marlton, New Jersey. I haven't gone too far. Been here. I bought my first house in Marlton in 1987, and then moved in 1998. Had too many kids to stay where I was, so I've been here. Yeah, I've been here since '87 in Marlton. So still loving South Jersey, I guess, or haven't figured out a better plan yet.
Well, that's great. That's great. What keeps you busy? What have you been doing?
So I've been a business owner for a while. I've owned various businesses since I guess the first one was 1990 95. And so now I'm doing consulting. So I help businesses in the expense reduction area. So I try to help businesses save money. I've been through that process myself as a business owner. So um, it kind of just drifted into that area. I did have a business that went down because of COVID. I had
Hmm.
a sports and recreation facility in Medford
Oh,
called Big League Dreams, and that was a casualty of COVID. Never reopened.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, but I was doing this at the same time, so I just kind of just drifted into doing that more. But yeah, I've owned a variety of businesses over the years, so that's kept me busy. And four kids, it keeps you busy over the years.
Sure does.
Three daughters. So so yeah, that's and I'm still into sports and mostly watching these days as opposed to playing, but still play a little softball for fun. A little bit of golf, not very good, and started too late to get really into it. But maybe when I'm in my 70s, start. I'll
How,
start.
how about pickleball? Have you picked up
I
the
have
pickleball?
not, and I would like to. That's kind of on my list that I would. I have a lot of friends who are playing. Some pretty serious, really love it. I haven't really talked to anybody who doesn't like it yet.
Yeah.
So
We'll talk to who was it, Scott Goldberg? I don't know if he was, I think he said the first time he set foot on the court, he ended up with a serious injury and had to have surgery. So
really,
he is not a pickleball fan.
well, that's the thing. Even with golf, I always kind of made fun of it a little bit because I was still playing a lot of basketball, softball, played touch and flag football for years. And I would always be like, well, when I can't play these other sports, I'll start playing golf. But even that, first of all, it's a lot harder than I imagined. And you actually can get hurt. I actually wrenched my back playing golf.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess you can get hurt doing anything now.
Yeah, for sure. I always figured I grew up playing tennis, so you're in motion, the racket's in motion, the ball's in motion. Golf can't be that difficult. You're standing still, the
Right.
ball is still. All you have to do is take that little club and hit it. That's all. Little did
Yeah.
we know.
Right. And our baseball coach, Dave Martin, going
Yeah,
back to Cherry Hill East, he used to always make fun of golf.
yeah,
He'd like, hey, if you know, if you can't play baseball, go play golf. The ball's
yeah.
not moving. That's what he would say that constantly. So that probably built into my bias of anti-golf, but it's tough. It takes a lot of, and it takes a lot of practice because
Yes.
you can't just athleticize golf. You really need to have the right technique. You need to practice it. You can't just,
You can't just muscle it like maybe a ball.
you can't just, it's not really that much of a natural thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're so for fun for you is still sports. You still are
Yeah.
playing. You're still playing
I'm
even
still playing a lot of softball,
really
and
that's
I'm still
fantastic.
playing with the younger guys too. I'm not,
Yeah. You
I'm
do
not
play like in an over 30 league or anything like that, or you still got 18-year-olds coming in?
Oh yeah, these leagues are a mixture of guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s. I'm usually the
Wow.
oldest guy. Um, and then I play lately this year I'm only playing in two leagues, but in the previous years I've been in three different leagues, so they're all
Oh.
a little bit different. But yeah, but I used to not even consider softball to be exercise, right?
Oh wow.
It's like because you're not,
Anything you can have a beer in your hand while you play,
right,
right?
exactly. Some guys are drinking, some are smoking, but yeah, now actually last week a pitcher got hit in the head with a
Ooh,
drive and he got seriously hurt.
got
So
concussed. Yeah,
most
wow.
of the most of the guys in the infield wear masks because
Wow, yeah.
the ball's coming out pretty fast, and the fields are terrible. You get a lot of
Yeah.
bad, so
Hops, yeah.
you can get hurt.
Well, I thought it
Can
was
be,
interesting. I played at East for a number of years softball, and I pitched, and it was fast pitch. It wasn't quite the extent of the windup but we didn't wear masks. But now you see all the high schoolers and then the college kids. If you're pitching, you got a mask on.
right.
Yeah, so that's smart.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I think, yeah, it is smart. They're also a little more overprotective than they used to be when
Mm,
we were that age. But
true, true.
yeah, but it is smart because it does, especially at those distances.
Yeah,
Um, Especially with softball, that batter is pretty close to the
yeah,
pitch.
yeah. So I saw. What did you do back in at East? So you played baseball,
Baseball and football.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
I saw you were on the weightlifting club.
Yeah, I think that was just like if we're playing football, we kind of had to lift weights.
Yeah.
So that was probably just something that we had to put down
Uh,
and do. That wasn't something that I would have chosen to do, but
okay. Yeah, the training for today's kids is so much beyond what we had, or and I guess the knowledge and the sports science is so much beyond.
it is. And that for the business that I spoke about earlier, the sports and recreation facility. I had a tenant that did baseball and softball training, and so I saw it from that perspective of the parents and the kids coming in for specific training that we really never had, which I do think is really good for the kids because they're really learning the right mechanics and techniques, and it really is a bigger emphasis now. Sometimes the parents can get a little carried away with thinking, okay, I'm going to make my kid into a scholarship athlete or a professional athlete. So I think some of those businesses are a little bit of a scam in
Yeah,
terms of making people think how much better they can turn their athletes into. But
yeah,
um, generally speaking, it is good teaching that they're getting.
yeah, yeah. So any other clubs or anything you did at East or
No, they didn't have any clubs for partying and drinking, but we did a lot of that.
yeah.
Uh, at East. But
Did you have a job during high school or in the summers or anything?
I didn't really work that much in high school. I remember my dad saying, it was funny because I would be playing, baseball in the summer. And one year, I remember even asking him, "You think I should get a job?" He said, "Look, once you're done playing ball and once you're done with college, you're gonna have to work the rest of your life. So just focus on that, and don't worry about it." So yeah, I was lazy until college, where I, I had to work in college.
So, what did you do after graduation? Where'd you go?
So my first job, I was actually working for I was
I
doing
mean, sorry, after graduation from high school.
Oh, from high school. Oh,
Yep,
I went to Rowan. Well, actually back then it was Glassboro.
Glassboro State. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went
So
to Rowan. Okay,
yeah, yeah. So I played ball there for a few years, majored in business.
okay.
Um, so yeah, that was I lived down there, so it was fun to be away from home, but still off campus and still living in the college life. So yeah, that was a good experience.
All right. And then from there, what was you started?
Yeah, then it's really, but I just did a lot of sales work before I started my first business. So I was selling tractor trailer driving education for
Wow.
a few years, and then eventually I got promoted, moved to North Jersey for a little while, and then eventually started a business in the prepaid phone card
Hmm.
business. So the prepaid calling cards, which led to prepaid cellular, which led to gift cards. So that was the most successful and best business that I had been involved in. That's a business now that is a multi-billion dollar company. We ended up selling it in 2005 to a company called Incom, which really has a monopoly on the business now. So if you go to Walmart, Target, CVS, 7-Eleven, you name it,
Hmm.
if you buy a gift card there, they're the company that produced the gift card, distributed them. They control the activation process. So I still do some work for them. Still do some consulting and company customer management for them. But yeah, that's a very big business in retail trade, and they've expanded it. Where one of the reasons we sold to them because they had a monopoly on the technology of,
Okay.
of activation and and some patents that we couldn't compete with.
Okay.
So they're a very successful company, even though most people are familiar with buying gift cards. They're not familiar with the company that's behind it. So
Right. Right.
um,
Okay. And so, so that was a first business, and then now you're doing consulting, or you mentioned you'd also done some other business?
yeah, I've been well, and some of the businesses kind of overlap.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've been involved in the computer business with computer repair. Bought that business after we had sold the business in 2005. And then also involved in the stores that sell stuff on eBay for customers. That was back in the mid 2000s as well. So that one wasn't quite as successful. So
Okay.
we shut that one down. So
All
that's
right.
the thing about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You take some chances, you hit on some, and you miss on some.
Right. Right. So, with your business, have you had an opportunity to travel either internationally or just around the country?
Mostly domestically. Yeah, a little bit international, but not much.
Yeah.
Mexico, Bahamas, but
Yeah.
uh, done a lot of traveling, a lot of trade shows, Las
Hmm.
Vegas, Chicago,
Do you have
Miami,
do you have a favorite
California.
place you've traveled in the country?
Well, I do like Las Vegas a lot, but and Miami's a fun place to go. both for business and plus South Beach, a lot of
Yeah.
trade there. New Orleans is a lot, they usually pick the cities that are a lot of fun to go to, right? So
Yeah.
it's usually Chicago. They kind of rotate between Chicago in the summer, um, Las Vegas, New Orleans, Miami,
Good cities. Yeah.
California, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. So, was there a class or a teacher at East that impacted you beyond your high school days?
it's a good question. Mostly the coaches that I had, I would say. Dave Martin as a baseball coach, Bo Wood and football, and some of the other assistants, like Mike Caputi and Ike Smith,
Hmm.
those guys. Um, so that I would say that would be the guys I remember the most from high school.
Yeah.
Teachers, this is probably bad to say. I can't, I mean, I remember a lot of the teachers, but I can't say that I think that any of them really made a dramatic difference in my
Yeah.
life. Probably more so the coaches because we're just, with them, spend more time with them,
Probably. Yeah.
both with practice, but even just, talking with them at length versus teachers where it's usually just in a classroom setting.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you do any coaching yourself of your kids or anything?
I coach my son in baseball. Yeah, my daughters, all of them went toward the arts. So my daughters they went to dance at a very young age, and they loved it. So as
Yeah.
long as they love it, that's fine. But they did a lot of dancing, a lot of singing, did the did acting, all that's and musical, a lot of singing.
Yeah.
So, but I did coach my son in baseball, which was a lot of fun. That was from about the age of 5 to 13, 14.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a lot of, that's kind of it's one of the things I've thought about. Like if I could do it over again, would I have gone into coaching from the beginning? I think that's something I might have liked to do,
Hmm.
especially, football or baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. So, did you have a high school sweetheart?
Yeah, well, Stacy Galligan, for a couple years. Yeah, so I haven't, I saw her at one of the reunions, but I haven't had contact with her recently. So I'm not sure how she's doing, but yeah, Stacy, we dated for a couple years, which is a long time in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. And your latest sweetheart?
Well, yeah, I've been married now for I guess better
Get this right.
for 8 years, right? What, 34 years? Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
That's congratulations. Yeah. And where did you
yes.
meet? Where did you meet her?
We met in Pennsylvania at a Halloween party.
Ah,
Yeah, through a mutual friend, Bernie Donaldson. Actually,
yeah.
uh,
Get
Bernie's.
Bernie to do this.
Yeah, I put some pressure on him. Have you
Yeah.
asked him?
I think I have reached out, but I'm not sure if I've heard back. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bernie's at the time his girlfriend was working with my wife, and that's how we met. Yeah,
Oh wow. That's great. That's great.
yeah.
So
And
clearly
we
as
still, we stay, we're still really close. So
yeah. So that was my next question. Who do you stay in touch with? You got people for
yeah,
Bernie?
there's a group of 10 to 12 of us that
Oh, okay.
stay and in fact we're even planning a trip right now to Tampa for one of the Eagles games.
Oh, nice.
But
Nice.
we're in a group text thread. So Bernie, Greg Deegan,
Oh, nice.
Jeff Woolley, Jeff Wyan,
Oh, wow.
Jeff Harrell. I don't know if you remember Jeff. Who am I missing? Eric Rappel, George
Oh,
Lee.
oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
So yeah, there's a group of us that we stay in contact quite a
That's
bit.
great. That's great.
And we usually do like at least one trip a year. Some smaller groups, with some of the guys will come in. Steve Stewart, I don't know if I mentioned Stu, but they come in for Eagles games and things like that, or we'll go on a trip somewhere. So we're planning uh, Tampa for the
Hmm.
Eagles game in September,
Nice.
and so the last big trip that we did was in Phoenix. That was like 2 years ago
Mhm.
for one of the golf tournaments.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and then as far as just some of the other guys just running into, mentioned Jeff Fendrick. See him every once in a while. Uh, some of the other guys, Bill Kaiser had lunch with Bill a few years ago. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, it's
Anybody?
funny
And
how, it doesn't matter sometimes how long it's been since you've seen someone,
yeah,
just kind of see them and the conversations like it's 40 years ago.
yeah, yeah. No, I totally true. Yeah. Anybody you lost touch with that you can't seem to track down?
Yeah, actually, one of them was my next door neighbor, Joe Cinemara. Cinemara. I'm not sure I'm even pronouncing it
Yeah,
now,
I think I remember who you're talking about. Yeah.
but Joe was my next door neighbor, and I I don't think I've even had
Yeah.
contact with him even right after high school.
Uh,
So that's one example.
yeah. I wonder, well, if
Uh,
anybody's out there who is in touch, maybe they can connect you too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know how it is with Facebook. Sometimes you keep up with people and see how they're doing.
Yeah.
But then some of the people that aren't on Facebook,
You just don't
yeah,
ever know how to, yeah.
right, right.
So do you have like a standout memory, a story from back in high school that still sticks with you to this day?
I don't know if I have one particular. I guess well, the one particular memory would probably be what was right after high school, which would have been the summer after we graduated, being down in Ocean City for the summer, living with some of the guys that we just talked about. We had two houses and
Nice.
just enjoying ourselves for that summer before college. A lot of good times. And then the other memories would just be some of the some of the parties that we all went to during high school. A lot of keg parties on golf courses and things like that. So that's probably just the friendships with all the guys, really.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
All right. So I got to ask. All right. Sorry for that. Um, Mike Rozier. So I know he played for Woodrow Wilson. So I was talking with some of the guys who played on the football team. And so I want to know, did anybody ever tackle him?
Well, we beat them.
Oh, you
We
did.
Senior year, we beat them.
Oh, wow. That's
You know,
tremendous.
somebody tackled them.
Somebody had to.
So yeah, that's funny, Mike Rozier, because when we were a freshman, we were the same exact age, right?
Yeah.
So, but when we were freshmen, we obviously see ourselves as nowhere near ready to play varsity football, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
he not only started with Woodrow Wilson, but he was a star as a freshman,
Yeah.
and then sophomore, and then senior year. Yeah, we played him. I think it was the first or second game of the
Oh,
year,
wow.
and we beat him. So
That's tremendous. So that's a
and I,
really good
and I
that
scored a touchdown in that game. But oh wait, you know what? I have the years backwards because I think that was our junior year.
oh, okay.
I think we might have beat him senior year too. But
Yeah.
anyway, we beat him one of those years.
Okay. All right. And you scored a touchdown. That's tremendous.
And then of course after that, uh, he went on to be a
The
star at Nebraska and
Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah.
Heisman Trophy, yeah,
Yeah.
whole
I
thing.
guess some of our guys on the track team also ran against Carl Lewis, who went to Willingboro High School.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's crazy that those two guys were at the same time. And then Irving Fryer also was I believe that year and he was a star at Rancocas Valley, I believe.
Okay. And he
He played
did.
with Rozier at Nebraska,
Oh,
and
okay.
he played for many years in the NFL.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah. So that was a good memory. Actually, you kind of sparked that memory
Yeah.
in my head.
Excellent. Excellent. So have you had a chance to get go back into the school building or anything event?
Well, my daughters had a dance recital there. Now this is like, I don't know, 15 years ago, probably. So that was probably the last time that, and yeah, then it looks totally different. For some reason, it looks smaller, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing, that struck me was my kids went to Cherokee
Okay.
and went to a football game between Cherokee and East. And, Cherokee had, I don't know, 100 players, 80 players, whatever on the sideline.
Wow.
And East only had like 30. And I
Oh,
was like,
really?
what happened? Yeah, it was like a much smaller number of players on the sideline for East.
Huh.
So, yeah, even though it's a big school, but I guess, at that point, the popularity of football and some of the stuff about injuries
Yeah.
was was getting people worried. So they just didn't have many players.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I wonder what the, like the soccer tryouts were like though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's because East always had a good team for a lot of the different sports. And actually, a friend of mine was coaching there a few years later, and I think was starting to build the program back up.
Okay.
But at that point, for whatever reason, yeah, the attendance was down with
Hmm.
football.
Interesting. So we're going back to 1980. We're looking out now 44 years. Did you see yourself where you are?
Not really. I wouldn't have thought that I would be in such a variety of different businesses. I probably would have thought I would have a job at one particular place for a long time, or one business. But it so that's that part you can't really. It's hard to predict. You got to go with the flow. So that part's a little different. I never really thought about it, but I didn't think I would still live here in South Jersey,
Yeah.
where at least would have, moved or retired somewhere. Maybe not yet, but eventually. Um, but yeah, it's just life, the way life unfolds. Now also with my kids, I thought maybe my kids would end up moving away, and one of them has. She's in North Carolina, my daughter. But my other kids are still here. I thought because they all went to college in the South.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I figured they would they'd stay down there or move somewhere else, but they all came back here. And then my oldest is expecting twins in
Oh.
September. So I'll have grandchildren pretty soon. So
Oh, those
uh,
are your first grandchildren?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, Mazel Tov. That's great.
yeah. Thanks. Um, so yeah, it looks like I'm gonna be here for a little while.
That's great. That's great. So did you have like a dream job if we could have asked you like, would you have played for the Eagles or,
Well, yeah, I think every
or the
guy's dream job would have been to be a professional athlete. But as I said earlier, I think if I could do it over, the dream job would have been to get into coaching. I think
Mm,
I really would have liked that, I think.
yeah, yeah. So what's the best piece of advice you'd go back and give your 18-year-old self, or maybe you gave your 18-year-old kids?
For me, I think it would have been just more patience with things, not rushing into decisions, being a little bit more patient. Um, one of the areas was the business that I sold, I stayed on as an employee for a little while. And I think looking back, I should have just stayed there as an employee with that company instead of just going off and starting another new business. So I think that would probably be the best advice I could give.
Yeah. All right. So we have reached our fast and furious finish. Did you have a favorite TV show or movie or book from back in high school?
From high school. So
Yeah,
not
right.
since then, not something I've read,
Yeah, yeah,
watched
something
since.
around that era,
I would
early
say,
early college.
back in high school, that day, I remember like Happy Days being a popular TV show.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
would say that would
yeah,
be the favorite TV show at that time.
yeah. Do you have a favorite musical group or genre of music or artist? And here's where I'm gonna plug Heaven's Edge and Reggie's band.
Yeah. Um, yeah, rock with the Eagles and Beatles, Rolling Stones, Leonard Skinner,
Oh yeah,
AC/DC,
good
Bob
stuff.
Seger. So we went to a lot of Kansas concert
All right.
back in high school. I think Kansas was the first concert.
Okay.
Mariner, if you remember them, the Who, yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah.
all
All
those
of
guys.
these.
Yeah,
Do you have a favorite
some of
place?
them are still playing. I heard.
Yeah, I know.
I
Well,
heard.
I went to the Doobie Brothers first like end of world tour.
Right.
And now they're like what? They're in their 70s and they're on their last end of world tour.
I know. So I heard the other day that Mick Jagger's 80 and he's
Yeah.
still doing it and still
Yeah.
jumping around and everything.
It's amazing.
So yeah, it gives you hope if he can do it at 80. We guess we should still be active in the 60s, right?
Absolutely. For sure. Do you have a favorite place to hang out with friends or eat with friends?
Back then,
Yeah.
well, I'd say we hung out a lot at McDonald's on 70 back then. And then we also, from a drinking standpoint, uh, the
You weren't
Jay's,
far from Kaminsky's,
Jay's
right?
Elbow Room was.
Which one?
I'm trying to remember now if Jay's was in high school or is that didn't start till maybe college. But we were legal pretty young, right?
Yeah,
Back
at
then,
18.
right at
Yeah.
18.
So you
The
could probably
Anchorage, the Anchorage down in Summers Point,
mm.
Kamikaze night, that was a big thing for us. 7 beers for $1.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Um, all right. So let's bring this up.
Yeah,
No quote, but did you like your photo?
no, uh, yeah, I guess it could have been worse.
All
Like
right.
the hairstyle of,
Yeah.
of the 70s.
Yep. For sure.
That's funny.
What language did you take at East and have you found it useful?
Funny story there. I did Spanish in middle school, and I think freshman and sophomore year, I think, and then I went to Italian, and
Yeah, really?
I was horrible at it, and I got a D in Italian. So I should have stuck with Spanish. I'm not not sure what I was thinking.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
And by the way, not very useful now. And my mother was fluent in Italian,
Okay.
spoke Italian all the time with my grandmother.
Will she ever talk to you guys
You would have
anytime?
thought I would have picked up something, but
Yeah, no.
other than the curse words, I picked up nothing.
Useful.
Yeah.
Um, so she didn't speak to you in Italian.
No, no.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, anything you want to say to anyone, parting shot, as it were, someone who might be listening, or shout out to anyone?
Well, some of the guys I spoke about earlier, some of my close friends, I think they'd be great guests.
Yeah,
Bernie and Greg,
absolutely. Been
uh,
trying to get Greg.
Jeff Wyan. Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, Greg even though him and Bernie like kind of stole the election, they were ahead of their time. Greg stole the election as the president and Bernie as the vice president. Neither was deserving, but they they somehow were elected. So when we give him a hard time about his duties as like organizing some of the reunions and stuff. So he should, yeah, Deeg should wake up and get on a podcast.
Absolutely.
Same thing
Absolutely.
with Nard. Jeff Wyan would be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, that would be great. That would be
yeah,
great.
those guys were all. Jeff Woolley, definitely be
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Jeff's a good talker. He'd be good.
Yeah. No, I gotta I'll have you work your magic and see if you
Work the
can talk
connection.
with. Yeah, for sure. I'll try to reach out to him again, but that would be great. Well, Gary, I really appreciate this. This was a lot of fun catching up with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me and good to see you again, Kara.
Good to see you. And hopefully next spring when Alan puts the reunion together, we'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right,
take
have a good
care.
one. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining me on It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and the early 80s. A shout out to my cousin Brad Corbett, whose podcast We Weren't Friends in High School inspired me to do this podcast and whose advice and encouragement have been so helpful. Thanks also to my husband, Randy Cockdale, who read all the fine print on the podcast hosting website so I wouldn't have to. And thanks to Jeff Lyons, content consultant and guinea pig, and to Deborah Smead, also content consultant. And thank you to all our classmates who are listening in. See you next week.